Welcome to the Spirit Rock Music YouTube channel. Today's video is about Leonard Cohen's Different Sides. This is a song that I particularly like because it addresses an issue that I find crucial on my own spiritual journey. The song Different Sides was released in 2012 by then 78-year-old Leonard Cohen on the album Old Ideas. A key quote from the lyrics: "We find ourselves on different sides of a line nobody drew." End of quote. What are these different sides? At the leonardcohenforum.com, various interpretations are suggested. One of them is: the song is about religious right-wingers versus religious liberals. One side judges more strictly about sexual preferences. Another suggestion: the song is about conflicts between Israel and Palestine. They agree on rules, quote from the lyrics, laws to obey, but they do not arrive at a peaceful coexistence. Another suggestion is: the song is about differences between Judaism and maybe Christianity on the one hand and Islam on the other hand. Another suggestion is: the song deals with relationships between women and men. Split-ups happen in spite of ongoing love, as goals in life evolve in different directions. Yet another suggestion for interpreting this song: two sides within one human. The strict you, which condemns one's shortcomings, conscience, and the I, which takes life more lightly and is more benevolent towards itself. And finally, the ocean of life, between cold moon and hot sun, a life between opposites, between I and you, until finally wholeness is achieved. Then there will be no more different sides. So what are the different sides? How can we view them from a spiritual perspective? A line nobody drew suggests, in my view, a border not made by man. That is, not a political border and not a separation between formally defined organizations. How are the two sides characterized in the song? Quote from the lyrics: "I to my side call the meek and the mild. You to your side call the words. By virtue of suffering I claim to have won. You claim to have never been heard." End of quote. So Cohen places the I on the side of the meek and the you on the side of words. Rules apply to both sides. Apparently, though, these rules differ. Another quote from the lyrics: "Both of us say there are laws to obey. Yeah, but frankly, I don't like your tone. You want to change the way I make love, but I want to leave it alone." End of quote. The side of the words wants to impose rules regarding love, but the side of the meek does not agree. How do the sides differ? The song hints at the attitude towards suffering. Another quote from the lyrics: "Down in the valley the famine goes on, the famine up on the hill. I say that you shouldn't, you couldn't, you can't. You say that you must and you will. You want to live where the suffering is. I want to get out of town. Come on, baby, give me a kiss. Stop writing everything down." End of quote. People suffer everywhere, denoted as famine in the valley and on the hill. The side of the words feels attracted. It wants to live there. The side of the meek, however, wants to get out of town. Ever since mankind came into existence, it fought against suffering. But no end to this fight is in sight. It is impossible to win this battle for good. Let's talk for a moment about humanism and spirituality. I don't know if this is controversial, and I'd really like to hear and read about your views on this. The following image may serve as an interpretation: a deep, unwelcoming valley with many people lingering in its gloom. Many are injured, many are cold. They sit and lie on the inconvenient rocks. Two groups of people feel strong enough amidst this misery to work beyond their own survival. One group helps the wounded, freezing, hungry people. They care for the wounds and distribute soup and blankets. This could be the side of you in Cohen's song, The Humanists. You want to live where the suffering is. A second group greatly appreciates this hard work of alleviating the suffering. Many of the wounded only manage to get up at all, thanks to this help. However, a different longing is pulsating in the hearts of the second group. They are aware that this gloomy valley is not intended to be a permanent residence for man. They have discovered the exit. They have experienced life in full sunlight. Their longing drags them to the light, and they offer help to all who are open for it. Come with us. This may be the side of the I in Cohen's song, I Want to Get Out of Town. Another quote from the lyrics. The pull of the moon, the thrust of the sun, thus the ocean is crossed. The waters are blessed, while a shadowy guest kindles a light for the lost. End of quote. The people in the canyon feel lost, but there is a light that leads them. Pale moonlight is but an indirect reflection of pure, bright sunlight. The ocean that separates the two sides, the two fields of life, can be crossed. Let's talk about the laws. An earlier quote of the lyrics was, both of us say there are laws to obey. So let's think about laws and rules according to one's state of consciousness. How can these laws differ? Each human being reacts to an inner urge, however different these reactions may be. Some strive for a career, some for knowledge, some for fame, for wealth, or even for enlightenment. Each field of activity is controlled by specific principles. Thus, each field of life follows its own principles as well. Life in the canyon is subject to different principles than life in bright, divine sunlight. One last image. Master and student walk by a river. Suddenly the student hears a drowning man cry out for help. The master keeps walking steadfastly. The pupil is confused, but follows his master. After a while, the cries stop. Apparently the man has drowned. The pupil asks, Master, why didn't you help him? The master replies calmly, I knew his karma, but why didn't you help him? After this maybe somewhat shocking story, I'm really keen to hear and read about your views of this song. What do you think about the topics that it touches on? Do you agree with my interpretations? Have you got other points of view? I'm really keen to read and hear about that. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing the channel if you haven't already. All the best for your own quest. See you next time. Ciao.